A tumor 1 inch by 1 inch in size was found on the MRI. That would be April of 1995. Dr. Burzynski immediately raised Dustin's dose of antineoplastins. There were still no harsh side effects at all. The next MRI in September of 1995 revealed that the tumor had almost disappeared again. To this day, it has not reappeared. If you look at Dustin right now, he is a happy, healthy 4-year-old who has outlived his prognosis. There is no traditional treatment that would have kept him alive with such good quality of life. FDA Commissioner David Kessler loves to grab headlines as a man who loves children so much. He wants to protect them from the ravages of smoking. If Dr. Kessler loves children so much, why have he and his agencies been trying so hard to cut off my son's last hope for life? Without this treatment, my son will die.
This is a photo of Dustin Canary at 4 years old in 1996. This is a photo of Dustin Canary at 22 years old in 2013, happily married. And this is a photo of Dustin Canary today, paying it forward by helping to save the lives of others as a firefighter and paramedic.
Hey guys, this is Nadia from the future. As I was editing this video, I see that there is a lot of controversy around Dr. Burzynski and his work and the idea of anti-neoplasms. Some people think he's a quack, some people think that he's a scam artist. Either way, the point of this video is take whatever you want to believe. But the theory that he has discovered and he has been awarded about the peptides, which you will learn in the future video, and his theory about how cancer develops is the point of this video. And then I just go on to tell you about what he does to treat it and whatnot if you just wanted some more information about who this guy is. The point of the video is the theory behind the genetic components and genomes and peptides and all that you'll learn in this video. That's the point of the video, okay? Is the theory. And since this channel is constantly ever evolving, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do here. I do want to work towards making videos on theories of cancer development. There's so many different theories. There's lots of science behind it and lots of research about all these different theories. And so this channel is going to be learning about theories just for fun. Why not know a whole bunch of different ways that cancer could develop, and you could potentially use this advice in other aspects of your treatments and picking the right path for you, along with the natural pharmacy of the world and traditional medicine regarding supplementation and herbs. That's very important to know as well. So it's just kind of a resource channel. And yeah, let me know what topics you want to talk about. Now enjoy this video. Welcome back to Cancer Transparency. My name is Nadia, and I make videos about the interesting things I learned researching cancer treatment and prevention. In this video, we're talking about a well-known doctor called Stanislaw Burzynski and his success with cancer patients using his discovery of antineoplastins. I did a lot of research on this one. This video may be longer than usual, but this is fascinating information that is revolutionary. So stick around and let me know what you think about it. Dr. Burzynski is an internationally recognized physician and biochemist researcher who pioneered the development and use of biologically active peptides for diagnosing, preventing, and treating cancer since 1967. Burzynski has devoted his life to solving what he believes is the riddle to cancer, and his answers lie in antineoplastins. Burzynski fought for 14 years with the FDA, who tried to take his theory and medication of antineoplastins and patent it for themselves, while he sat in prison for life. Actually, to be exact, 290 years.
We talk about dissemination of false information by the FDA. 1985, FDA tells anyone who calls and inquiring about Dr. Burzynski that he's being criminally investigated. When the judge on the case found out about that, he issued a cease and desist and a strong reprimand against that. The FDA now has refined this tactic. Instead of waiting for people to call up the FDA, what they've done is subpoena all the records from Dr. Burzynski about his business associates and all the researchers around the world, and there are many of them who are researching anti-neoplastons, his therapy. Now what they're doing is systematically contacting everyone who does business with him, who may do business with him, and telling about the grand jury investigations, subpoenaing documents. I believe that they're doing this in order to make the FDA, to make it more difficult for him to do business. I'd like the following questions to be asked the FDA. How much money have they spent in the last 10 years to try to put Dr. Burzynski out of business? How many documents can they subpoena, and how many more grand juries does he have to go to? And why can't patients who have advanced cancer seek the medical treatment of their choice?
Thankfully, now they work together, allowing him to help cancer patients within clinical trials. It may not be ideal, though it really is a step in history. He said he has been practicing medicine for 44 years, and he has been doing angioneoplastin treatment for 34 years with patients who have been following up with his clinic for 27 years, alive and well today. So what are these peptides? Peptides are short chains of amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. In a peptide, amino acids are linked together by peptide bonds, forming a chain. The term peptide is often used to describe molecules that are shorter than proteins. Typically, peptides consist of fewer than 50 amino acids, while proteins are larger molecules with more than 50 amino acids. Peptides play crucial roles in various biological processes and functions within living organisms. They can have diverse functions, including acting as hormones, neurotransmitters, antibiotics, and signaling molecules. While he was finishing his MD degree in the Medical Academy in Poland, he identified naturally occurring peptides in the human body that had never been named before, and of which he concluded controlled cancer growth. He found that there is a potentially marked deficiency of these peptides in cancer patients compared to healthy individuals. He fled Poland because of the war and politics with $15 in his pocket, he said in an interview with Suzanne Summers in her book Knockout. From 1970 to 1977, he was a researcher and assistant professor at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. His research was sponsored and partly funded by the National Cancer Institute. At Baylor, he authored and co-authored 16 publications. 5 concerned his research on peptides and their effect on human cancer, and 4 others were co-authored by doctors associated with MD Anderson Hospital and Tumor Institute and Baylor College of Medicine. While he was at Baylor, he named these peptides that had the ability in correcting and normalizing cancerous cells angioneoplastons. In May 1977, Dr. Burzynski received a certification appreciation from Baylor College of Medicine, condemning him 45 years of dedicated service to the college and acknowledging him for the contributions that he made to the advancement of medical education, research, and health. That same month, he founded his clinic in Houston, where he has since treated over 15,000 patients. He's also the president of the Burzynski Research Institute, where he continues to pursue scientific research on angioneoplastons. Now that you know his biography, here is his approach and theory behind what he studied to be cancer, what causes it, and how he potentially treats it. Burzynski has observed in his studies that cancer could be defined as the uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells, which he said is caused by cancer genomes. A genome is a complete set of genetic material, DNA or RNA, present in an organism. It contains all of the information needed for growth, development, functioning, and reproduction of that organisms. Genomes can be found in the cells of living organisms, and they encode the instructions for building and maintaining the organism, keeping it alive. Now, A cancer genome refers to the complete set of DNA or genetic material within the cells of a cancerous tumor. Cancer is characterized by uncontrolled and abnormal cell growth, and this dysregulation often involves changes or mutations in the DNA of the affected cells. The study of cancer genome aims to understand the genetic alterations that contribute to the development and progression of cancer. Cancer genomes typically exhibit a variety of genetic mutations, including changes in the sequence of DNA, alterations in the number of chromosomes, and structural rearrangements. So these mutations can affect the function of specific genes involved in the cell cycle regulation that collectively contribute to the proper functioning and survival of cancer cells within an organism, such as DNA repair, apoptosis, that is programmed cell death, and other critical cellular processes. We often see cancer cells lose their ability for programmed cell death, hence why these damn things stay alive longer than necessary. Cancer cells are out here changing the DNA in the cell for its own survival. Scientists have now identified genomes for about 100 different types of cancers. They are able to tell how many genes are abnormal in various types of cancer and what those specific genes are. Notably, there are multiple factors which cause abnormal genomes to develop. It is a very difficult task to try to identify what all of these are. So what Burzynski is doing at his clinic is through blood tests and biopsies, he is trying hard to identify these genome mutations, peptides, and oncogenes. So oncogenes are genes that have the potential to cause cancer when they are undergoing mutations or are overexpressed. So what he then does is then they test for genetic compatibility between the patient's oncogenes and the angioplastin medication. He said it is a very difficult task since the average cancer could have about 80 abnormal gene mutations and could have up to 500 abnormal genes. The average number of abnormal genes involved in most people's cancers could possibly range from 40 to 200. These abnormal genes hijack and suffocate a much larger number of normal genes, approximately 600 to 1,000. To make matters even more difficult, in addition to normal genes, the body has silent genes. That is, genes that have been switched off by the environment and other factors of which no longer help the body protect itself against cancer. Turning these silent tumor suppressor genes back on again could be very important for defeating cancer, he says. Let's move on to break down what angioneoplastins are to begin with briefly. Burzynski discovered them in 1967 as a medical student. Through his research as a chemist, he found that cancer patients have a deficiency of certain peptides in their blood. According to his studies, we all have these peptides that protect our bodies against cancer. He has isolated these peptides and tested them together with scientists at MD Anderson Cancer Center and learned many of them could have the potential to eliminate malignant cancer cells, but not harm normal cells. So then he went on to isolate these peptides, characterize their chemical structure, and reproduce them synthetically in a similar manner that pharmaceutical agents are developed so for this use of on his cancer patients. Then he patented the angioneoplastic medication. At his clinic, he has been allowed by the FDA to use angioneoplastins orally for general practice and through IV only in clinical trials, which he does say that IV works better, but clinical trials only. The antineoplastins he uses has the potential to affect approximately 100 different genes in the formation of his patient's cancer, discovering that if he can turn off around 100 genes that could be causing a cancer to grow, then he could possibly stop the growth or eliminate it. his patients have the potential to show within 4 to 6 months their tumors disappearing. As the world is moving towards gene targeting therapy, what he said makes him different is the number of genes he could possibly affect compared to the ones currently on the market that may only target a single gene, possibly leading to the cancer to subvert that gene. He said that his work consists of naturally occurring chemicals that do not harm the patient's body, unlike other gene-targeting therapies that could have adverse effects upon normal cells. Also, there is about 12 main gene signaling pathways in cancer in order for gene therapy to work. Doctors must influence not only single genes, but their entire pathways. Not to mention eliminating stem cells that are deemed to be immortal and multiply to produce new cancer cells. Aside from using angioneoplastins on patients, he also used FDA-approved medications that can help targeting even more genes. At the end of the day, cancer could be unique in every person's DNA. So angioneoplastin therapy is always working with a moving target. Although patients may be diagnosed with the same type of cancer, the abnormal genes which could cause their cancers will be different. Burzynski's clinic has to identify the particular genetic signature of each one of their patients and then put together the best combination of medications that will neutralize their cancer-causing genes. Now, this was a very long video, but very interesting. We have learned a lot. Now, take this information with a grain of salt. That is, taking what you need and leaving what doesn't resonate with you, right? Everybody likes to use that word. I think the idea of peptides and genomes is fascinating, and I will definitely deep dive into these topics further on. For now, check out my other videos on herbs and supplements that could help eliminate cancer cells for a more natural approach in prevention. If it were me and I was in a scenario where it was life or death, this man would be on my list of doctors to go seek. I would absolutely love, though, to go get my hands on that blood test and see what genes are potentially mutated in myself. So Burzynski is still at his Houston clinic, I believe, where right now he is currently training doctors about angioneoplastins and shipping his medicine around the world. He also has a movie called Burzynski, the Cancer Cure Cover-Up, you can find here on YouTube. That is basically the documentary about his fight to the DNA, and it is wild to the extent that the DNA went to put this man in jail. So that movie has a lot of testimonies of his patients that actually went to trial and were saying that their kids were getting healed, they got healed, they had diagnosis of that they were going to die in a couple months, and they survived after they went on his neoplastin therapy, potentially increasing their life expectancy. So I got this information that inspired me to make this video from this book called Defeat Cancer. So this guy is 15 doctors of integrative and naturopathic medicine have to tell you about cancer. And the first chapter was on Burzynski, and so this really made this idea for this video. And basically I'm going to read all of everybody, and what they have to say about cancer, right? Because everybody has their own theories, and that's basically what this channel is about. There's so many theories about cancer you don't even imagine, right? And so exploring all options can really help us heal, and that's all I really want to do, man. I don't want to die. I don't want them to make me feel like I'm going to die, right? So you have to believe that you are healthy, and you know your body will listen. I know it's a bunch of spirituality stuff, but there is science in the placebo effect, where you tell somebody that they have this much longer to live or they have this disease and they get sick, but when you tell people things in the opposite, that you are going to heal, the placebo works and people are healing. Also, Knockout, the first chapter, she also interviewed Burzynski, and she, in the end of the chapter, has so many patient testimonials too, if you want to learn more about this guy. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. Now, I'm about to go make some more videos today, as well as I have one coming out about green tea and one about the DIM and I3C, so stick around for more information. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, you know the drill. Peace out.